and it worked out twice. So
Was it some nervousness? Was it some nervousness with that? Like, oh, like I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I'm gonna feel kind of awkward, you know, taking this huge pain to this concert. Like, was it anything like that, or you kind of just fearless? Was like, hey, I'm gonna do it no matter. Like, I'm just gonna go out here and do it no matter what.
Oh my goodness! Like, please, with that K Michelle one, I drove like an hour away with that paint, and it was huge, and I had to tie it up on my car.
On the roof of the car?
I don't know how to. Yes, on the highway, driving super fast. It flew off of my hood of my truck in the middle of the highway. And I was like freaking out, like, oh my gosh. So I got out the car. It was far away. I had to like walk and get it. It was early in the morning. It was crazy because obviously I had to do it before work because it was like on a weekday that the concert was. So I had to take that big old paint with me to my job. And then when I got to the concert, I left work early to go to the concert, and I'm by myself, so it was really scary. I was so nervous and I was so embarrassed, I guess. It was just like, but I was like, I have to do it. I have to do it. Like, you gotta try, you gotta put yourself out there. Like, who else gonna do it if it's not gonna be you?
So I'm gonna try real quick to pronounce your name. We'll see if I can do it properly. It's Simone. All right, that was the easy part. Agoussoye?
Yeah, you did good.
All right. I feel good about myself. That's awesome. And what is your background as far as ethnicity?
I never really did like a background ethnicity. I've been meaning to ask my nana, because they said they did it. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm Black.
Oh man, a name like that, you got to check.
My name is West African though, so I rep West African. I rep Togo. That's where the name is from. My name is from my husband.
Oh, that's right. I remember you.
Yeah, he's from Africa.
Oh, okay.
He's from Togo. That's his name. My original name was something Whack. So.
Okay, so I guess sticking with that it sounds a lot better.
Yeah, but I get that question a lot. Everybody always asks me because they think that Agoussoye is like my birth name, but it's my married name.
I gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you meeting with me today, Ms. Agoussoye, and definitely wanted to have the opportunity to talk about just, of course, your background, your artwork, and how you've been able to grow a great following and be able to make the kind of work that you do on your platform too. So I appreciate you meeting with me today.
Yes, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
It's no problem at all. I believe that I first encountered your work from an artist named Raheem Milton. It was a big trend going on of artists supporting artists. I think it was the Don't Rush Challenge. I saw a lot of different women posting that, and it sent just a long thread of artists reposting each other's work. So I found you through there.
Yes, Raheem. I remember when he reposted me. I was like, oh, thank you. Because I woke up to all these like messages and follows. I'm like, what happened overnight? And then I saw that he had reposted me, and I was just like so thankful. So like from him doing that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing that too. So I started shouting out all the artists I know every month. I haven't done this month yet because it's been kind of hard to find. I'm trying to, like, each month is a different theme of artists that I repost, but he definitely motivated me to inspire me to also do the same. So that I didn't even know it was a trend. I mean, even though as much as it seems like I might be on Instagram, I'm really not that much into everything that's going on Instagram. So I didn't know it was like a trend going on. I remember doing the Don't Rush Challenge, but just as far as everybody just doing it in any kind of way. So, but yeah, when he did that, I was like, definitely going to pay this forward.
And so what was the jump between when he reposted you to your following and the people that are reaching out to you versus how, like, the floodgates that opened up after he reposted you? Like, was there a big jump?
I feel like it was. I wonder if I screenshotted that, but I definitely feel like I got 100 new followers like in that morning, and I was just like, wow.
Okay, that's definitely big. And I think I first found you when you had about 16,000 or so, maybe 16,000 and a half. So in the few months that I followed you, I see that you have to get about 17 now. So does that have like what effect does that have for you and your morale as far as like getting work out there on social media to keep posting things? Does that have a big impact on you?
I feel like that whole period of growth, because it kind of happened when I was at like maybe 15,000 is where I started seeing like this growth, just like every month after month, it's like 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. But I feel like the majority of that came from the whole Black Lives Matter movement. That's like, that movement alone is what definitely jumped my numbers up high, because I'm Black by default. I was born Black and I'm an artist. That just really, when everybody was like, all Black Lives Matter and all this, Black this, Black that, Black owned businesses, Black art, Black, everything was Black, 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 Black. And because I'm Black, I definitely saw that increase. And then I had a celebrity repost me too, because he was like out to buy Black art. And he was like, I want to buy Black art, I'm supporting Black artists. And he ended up buying one of my pieces off the random. And I was just like, I woke up one morning and was like, oh, I got an order. And then like later on, maybe like a week later, maybe not a week later, because like later on that day, I saw where the order came from, but I didn't really make the connection yet. I saw I was in Calabasas. I was like, okay, so this is like one of those type of clients type of thing, because it's going to California. I was like, okay. I didn't make the connection until later on that he was a celebrity, because his government name obviously isn't necessarily his Instagram name and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, he bought a piece. And then he reposted me on his Instagram, and then that's when the numbers started going crazy again. But it's all from the Black Lives Matter movement. Like everything, like my numbers jumped from 15 to 17. I feel like probably like 80%, I would say 80% of it is because of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Did he end up getting one of your the golden Africa pieces? Was that they called it the Ivory?
Yeah, the Land of Diamonds. He actually got the Black version of it.
Oh, okay.
That was the first version I had.
I saw those too. Those are tough. I saw both of the black and the gold were very nice.
Yeah. So after he did that, yeah, it was even like outside of Instagram, like him doing that, I sold out of that piece because I only had 7. Because for each original piece I do, depending on the piece, sometimes I'll make it more than once. But the max I normally make things is like 7. So I had 7 of those pieces. When he reposted it, them 7 went by in like 5 days. They were sold out. I was like, wow.
Hey, that's the power. That's the power of people supporting you. That word of mouth definitely gets things out.
Yeah.
You know, is there a reason for the particular incentive you want to keep it, as far as, is it just the work that's involved, or you want to keep it scarce to help with the value of the piece itself?
What do you mean scarce?
Some artists, when they make, whether or not it's a piece of clothing or a painting or whatever it may be, they don't make a surplus of them because they feel as though there's a high supply, the value of it dwindles down. But if people say, oh, there's only 5 of these in existence, I want to be one of the people that has one of those 5. Is that something that you thought about going into it, or is just you don't feel like making more than 7 because it's a lot of work?
Well, when I initially, because it's an original piece, mostly for originals is definitely, like if it's a print, that's one thing. I can make thousands, it's easy, but like the fact that it is like making it handmade art, it does take a lot of time and work. So I didn't really think about it as like making it high in demand type of thing. I just know like the work that goes into it is like, yeah, I'm just gonna make 7. If I would have known that it was gonna be like that, because after the fact, I'm like, why did I only make 7? I should have made like 20 at least. So I didn't go in thinking like it was gonna sell because of the fact that it was a limited edition. I just did it because of more so the work that goes into it. But afterwards, I thought about it, like, dang, yeah. I should have definitely been 20. But
that definitely can help.
7, I can't, change that, because once you put it out there, just keeping your word, and the fact that you said only 7 are going to be made, I had to kind of stand with that.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely understand. It looks like there's a lot involved. That's one of the questions that I definitely wanted to ask you about. So going into the question before I jump the gun too far, I did want to have an introduction for anybody that may be watching this of, who you are, your business, and what's the technical name for the art that you specialize in. I know that you're a painter, but what's your specialty exactly? So all of those things.
That sounds like some good questions. My name is Simone Agoussoye, and I do art. I'm an artist based in Washington, D.C. area, the DMV area. I specialize in glass art as well as portrait art. So portraiture and glass art are like my two specialties.
Okay. And how did you get into that exactly, of making glass art? Because besides you, I maybe follow personally two other women that do glass art. So how did you get into that particular side from portraiture? Portraiture is something that a lot of painters do, but how did you take that and transition over?
So I've been doing portraiture for like years. Like when I first started drawing, literally like the 3rd grade, my first drawing painting was a portrait. So I just always was comfortable with faces and painting faces and people, and just really loved that whole aspect of art. So like recently with the glass art, I started doing that in 2017. And I think it was a combination of seeing it. I probably saw 1 or 2 artists doing glass art, and then seeing like different mosaic pieces, and then different like people doing like multimedia art. And at that time I was really heavy in doing like art with glitter. So I figured like, well, yeah, that would make sense to transform, to try to make this into like glass instead of, you know, just adding glitter and stuff like that, but just adding another dimension to my art pieces by adding the glass to my work. So that's kind of how that evolved.
I got you. So was it, when you first started off with portraiture, I know like in middle school or high school, elementary, they started off with drawing things like that, maybe drawing yourself. Would you say that it was a natural talent or that you had, or a skill that you developed?
I would say I really don't know. I guess I don't really know. I guess both. I think maybe both. I always loved art and stuff, and like literally when I knew I wanted to be an artist, I was in the 3rd grade, and my art teacher, Miss Little was her name, and it was a self-portrait of myself that I had created in the style of the Andy Warhol style. And what I realized now that I really didn't really realize when I was in school is that your art teachers are always submitting your artwork into different competitions, into different art fairs and things like that. And I didn't really know that's what they do, but I don't know if it's a part of their job, because like looking back, all of my art teachers did that. But with that particular piece, my art teacher in the 3rd grade had submitted it to the county fair. And then, but I didn't know until she came to me and was like, oh, your piece won 2nd place in the county fair. I was like, oh, really? I mean, I didn't even know it was in there. And like from that point, I was like, oh, I'm going to be an artist when I grow up, because. So hey, I would say I was in both.
You win in competitions, you might as well try.
Right? Yeah. So I've been doing it from a young age, just the strength, I guess is what they would say, or whatever. But I mean, obviously you grow and you develop more and stuff like that, but it's just always been a part of me.
Now, did you have any other interests that you like, well, you wanted to be like an athlete or anything like that, or you, from that point on, it was solely art and nothing else from that point forward?
Yeah, pretty much it was just art. I never waved and trying to be anything else or do anything else. It was always art.
Did you think, oh, I'm going to be an artist for a living, or you just felt like you just wanted to do that? This is something I do. I want to try. Did you at that point? I think you like 3rd grade, so that's like what, 8, 9. Were you thinking like, oh, I'm going to be an artist when I grow up for my career?
I know I didn't. Like when saying that at like being in the 3rd grade, I think it was like 7, because I graduated like 17 when I graduated high school and stuff. So my birthday. But yeah, I didn't understand what that concept meant really. And then like in high school, you know, everything was art for me, because it's just when I was the most focused, the most like non-behavioral problem type of things I had. Like I was like a problem child kind of in high school, but when I was in art class, I was always focused, respectful, concentrated on my work. So even my teachers and my principals, like everybody noticed that I would take my seriously. So when I was graduating, and my teacher, I wasn't really thinking about college or anything like that, but my art teacher was really like pushing certain colleges on me. And then that's when I thought like, okay, how am I gonna make money instead of trying to do art? And then that's when I decided to like try to combine art with computers, because I really love computers too. So I tried to do, but so I actually school, but I was in college. I went in graphic design, web development, and things like that, and got a job being a graphic designer, which I was doing for like 7-8 years. And during that time, I wasn't even painting or doing anything. I was a graphic designer, making logos, websites, flyers.
As far as graphic designing, do you still currently do that also, or have you left that for more of the what you do now?
Well, I still work full-time. So my full-time job, I am a graphic designer.
Oh, okay. Man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So that still consists of logos, flyers, websites, things of that nature with the graphic design work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Freelance, or are you with a corporation company?
Yeah, I work for a tech company. So I work with our tech company, and we're like a EPS provider. So we have like hundreds and hundreds of clients. So I'm like the graphic design whenever they have any graphic design work they need, or HTML they need developed for whatever they have going on, then they reach out to me. So yeah, I just work for that company 9 to 5, even though my hours are like 7 to 4, because obviously trying to work, having a full-time job and trying to be an entrepreneur is no easy task. And thank goodness that on Fridays we have early summer hours. So for me, that means I'm finished at like 2 on Fridays. But yeah, just I don't do graphic design work on the side. I used to do graphic work on the side as a freelancer and like getting my own clients and stuff. But ever since I started painting, I don't do logos or nothing on the side. Only do graphic design for my full-time job, and outside of that, it's art. Yeah,
that keeping it separate is definitely a real key when you're doing an entrepreneur. Just having you have a full-time job. It's I've experienced that with trying to be an entrepreneur. Also, when you start mixing them, like doing both on the same day, or trying if your job wants you to come work overtime on the weekends, but that's your day for your family, for your side job, or for your business. I know for myself, you end up forgetting stuff, especially if you don't write it down, which I'm terrible at writing stuff down. You will forget things. You will just leave stuff off. A client will be wondering, hey, what happened? And like, oh man, but you're still clocked in at work. So that obstacle comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Now I did want to ask you, so as you were going through and everyone was noticing that you were really focused in on art, did you have a lot of support from family and teachers and everybody as far as your pursuit?
Yeah, pretty much. I never had any hard time with being an artist or painting or wanting to draw and stuff like that. It was just a matter of like college was kind of like a issue, and really I feel like it would nothing will say it was like a waste, but it kind of the way I went to college was like a waste. So especially to being an artist and pretty much being anything is like unless you want to college to be like a doctor or something, I feel like you don't necessarily need college, at least for what you think you need college for, if that makes sense.
It does to me. That's an interesting conversation to have too. I love talking to people about college. I myself, a lot of my teachers did want me to go to college because I was thinking about being an engineer or an architect until I saw the 10 to 12 years of schooling and internships and said, I'm not doing that. So I went into trades to use like air conditioning, electric and plumbing for my trades, and doing that for work and for my businesses. And for myself, I preferred that. But I have classmates that currently are in doctorate school. I have a cousin right now. She's working on getting into medical school to be a brain surgeon. So I've seen both sides of the spectrum. That's a conversation I like to have with a lot of people. Hopefully that's an interview that I can have with a few of my friends, and how we've chosen different routes, because some people, they were always told college, and that's a great option, but it's not always necessary to get to the point that you want to be in life, especially for people that are younger and they don't really know exactly where they want to be. They just have been told, oh, I should go to college. So
yeah.
Now you mentioned Warhol earlier, as far as what you were looking at. What are some of the inspirations as far as when you were younger until now of encouraging you in your work? You mentioned Warhol. Is there any other artists?
I mean, that's like a hard question most of the time, because it's like I was just inspired by my teachers, uncles, from the people around me, was like what inspired me to keep pursuing art. Not necessarily other artists necessarily, but I'm sure that they had an impact or influence on my art. Like the one that I was talking about from the 3rd grade, I didn't know that was Andy Warhol's style or technique that I was doing, because I was in the 3rd grade. I already know who he is. I was just being exposed to whoever my art teacher exposes us to, or whatever art teacher said, okay, create something like this, put a screen print, use 3 colors, and then boom, we did it. It wasn't until later on that I looked at it. That was a type of, but I didn't know that back then. So, I mean, I was influenced by whoever my art teacher put in front of me. And the only ones I can think of is him, Picasso, and Leonardo, like all those old masters. So it was one more person. Oh, Van Gogh. But I don't really do nothing like in those styles, obviously. But just the typical artists that your art teachers teach you about.
Okay, I can see that. I haven't come across too many that I can even name besides Warhol, Basquiat, Van Gogh, and and of course the ones that you always name. So
Basquiat, I never even heard of him until when recently, like three years ago, is when. And I never heard of him in school. Not one time, not in middle school, high school, or college. Never heard of him until 3 years ago.
It's it falls in line with a lot of our untold history that they don't teach us in school.
Yeah.
Which I saw a post not too long ago. I reposted it onto my page. I think one of his pieces is the highest selling piece of art to ever come from the USA.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
it's crazy.
And looking at it, he looks like, people may think that he's just another graffiti artist, but looking at some of the work that he's done and the detail that he has and the stories behind a lot of his work, and he's not just your average graffiti artist. Even if someone wants to just belittle street level artists down to that, even street level artists can make amazing pieces of work. So really, it's just in the eye of the beholder, but you never know who's going to appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, I hope they are teaching about him now in the school system, because he is amazing.
I hope so. We can only hope that they try to branch out more into teaching more of the actual history that is out there, rather than what we've always been taught, the same things over the years.
Yeah, I know for me, I'm actually starting an art program, or I'm teaching an art program that's with this art community that's in DC, that's geared towards like artists and young artists, as well as like adult artists and stuff. So that's one thing that's going to be a part of my lesson plan, is each week introducing them to another artist or reintroducing them to another artist they're already familiar with them. And he's definitely on the list, and definitely going to be looking for those artists that don't get talked about a lot, especially even female artists. Like in school, I never heard of what's her name with the eyebrows, Frida
Kahlo.
I never learned about her in school. I never learned about female artists in school. So definitely needs to be changed.
Yeah, that's how I remember the lady with the eyebrows too. That's my same with that. I remember Frida. I learned about her only because of Spanish class, and one of my Spanish teachers was teaching us about Frida Kahlo. We were going over poetry and artwork during that section of our class, and she'd always come up. I didn't even know that they put Frida on the money there. That's how large of a figure she became in her country. And that's the first woman I've ever seen on money, and that's the first artist I've seen on money.
Wow, I didn't even know she was on money.
Yeah, so I need to research her, because I took her word for it. For anybody that's watching, if she's not and now it's fake, then now I know. But to my knowledge, I was told that she was put on some bill there. But if that's the case, then that's really a big step for a female artist, someone that's not a politician.
Yeah, so definitely.
My next section of questions had to do with your business. Going towards that, is there a name for your company? Is there a name for your business, or are you just doing business as Simone Agoussoye?
Yeah, doing business as Simone Agoussoye.
Okay, that works. Now,
Simone Agoussoye art.
How did you get into making it a business, and like what was the first couple steps in that of saying, hey, I want to sell this?
Let's see. When I started painting again, which was 2017, I think that I was just painting for fun at that time because I had just got married. Actually, well, yeah, I did just get married, but I was married like 2 years already. But it was just like a lot of different changes. There's a lot of different changes going on in my life at that time. So I know my mom kept telling me, just find something that you can call your own. Like, just find something that you can, you know, do to like release. Just, you know, find something you can call your own, because I'm going into this man's house, into this man's life, and then like everything was just changing around me. That I didn't really feel like I was losing myself, but it was because, you know, we have two different cultures, and trying to merge the two, it was just a lot. So trying to find something. And then that's when I would decide, like, oh, let me go back to drawing and painting and stuff. So I went back into that, posted on Instagram just to be like, hey, I'm painting and drawing, but nothing serious, just, you know, drawing here and then regular life here. And then I remember one time I posted something, and it was my aunt actually was like, oh my gosh, can I buy that? And I'm like, you can just have it. Like, you can have it. No, I'm going to buy that. How much? I'm like, okay, well, whatever you want to give me, but like, you literally can just have it. Like, it's nothing. I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing it for fun. And then she was like, so then she sent me $100. I was like, wow, that was nice. And then she was just like so happy about it, put it up in her daughter's room. And I was just like, okay. And then another aunt asked me to paint something for her, like my first commission. And I was like, okay. Mind you, I never finished that commission, and this is 3 years ago, and I still have it in my studio unfinished. So that's another story for another time. But yeah, so then I just started noticing like people really was like into art, and it was a thing on Instagram, and I like literally I like started following a few artists, and the first one that I kind of like came across was Whitney Austin, and she's like the Oprah of like having our business. And I found her really early on my embark into the career and making it to a business, even though I didn't know I was making it to a business. And so it kind of was like a business. So I found her, followed her, and like she really gave me like a lot of tips and a lot of help to like really view it as a business. So that's how it kind of came to what you see today. And I was like, okay, let me get a website, obviously, because that's my background at Portray is building websites. So having a website only makes sense. You're not a real business, you don't have a website. So made a website and just kept it moving from there.
Okay, that's what's up. So you weren't focused on making it a business until it already was. So you didn't really go into it having like the planning of it. You were just, hey, I'll make this stuff, I'll post it. If anybody likes it, say, hey, can you make me something? Can I have that? What was that feeling?
I never even posted for people to have it. I just posted because back in that age, when on Instagram, you just posting like your life. So I was just posting it just like I would post me going to Chick-fil-A or something. Like, it was no thoughts of anything. I was just like, oh, this is what I'm doing, post, kept it moving. But then when I saw that feedback, I was like, oh, this is a thing.
Yeah, that's the power of social media, the power of like just of how the internet works. That things can just spread, and you never know what people across the world may think. It's like, oh wow, like people really love this. The thought that I just had about that. How did it feel about getting that first $100 for a piece of your artwork? Like, was that a special feeling for you, or just kind of a oh my, this is nice for me?
I was like, wow, because like I told you, I didn't give her a price. She was just like, well, how much? I'm going to pay you. And I'm just like, literally, you can have it. Like, I don't even know what number to tell you. Like, you can just have it. She's like, well, I'm going to send you something anyway. And I was like, okay. So when I got the money, I was shocked. I was like, she paid me $100 for that? Like, I was really like pressed. I was just like, wow, I'm rich now. It's like, no. But I mean, I was really like, wow, I can't believe she gave me $100 for that. Like, it was, yeah, I was really proud. I was a proud person, and I didn't believe it, couldn't believe it. just excited.
Do you remember what you spent that first $100 on, or you just tossed it in the piggy bank? Did you like save it and frame it?
I probably went and bought some more art stuff.
That works too. So I'm assuming now that we're not going to be able to get any pieces for $100.
Oh yeah, no, that was 3 years ago. You could have got a lot. Nowadays, the lowest I sell any like original art is made. It's really hard to find something.
The price went up. The price went way up.
Yeah, because I don't even do those sizes either. Like the size of painting that I did back in that time was just like a 16 by 20, I think. I don't really even mess with those sizes like that because I just like big paintings and doing things big. So I don't do that size anymore.
And so anybody watching that wants a piece, definitely put your coins away and save it for a while. $100 is not going to get you. It might get you a couple.
Nah, it wouldn't get you a down payment. Not even a down payment. That is very good to know. That is very, very good to know. I plan on getting one too, so I have to make sure I stack my coins up. Man. Yeah. That's the benefit. You try to get in when somebody first starts off, you might get it for a little bit cheaper. Yeah.
On the back end, it's going to cost you a lot more.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
So now that you have the business, how do you do as far as advertising, marketing, all these different things? Do you just put it out on YouTube? Do you actually have kind of focused ways of getting your work out there?
So that's something I'm like trying to still work on. Now is like really because probably it's been 3 years now. So maybe a year ago, I realized like it's not enough that you're a talented artist. It's not enough that you like art, that you can paint amazing portraits or amazing this or amazing that. None of that is enough. Like the art, the business is like what is the thing that can push an artist. Like you can't just be an artist and just, be successful. Like you really have to know the business of the art. So I've really been trying to like focus on that, and networking is definitely key, and like learning how to be put in front of the right people for those opportunities to be, I guess, seen and to like build and continue to grow and to become successful, because it's an art to it.
It's an art to the actual business of things rather than just the art created. Gotcha. And that's a gem right there, because there's tons of talented poets or rappers or singers or painters that we'll never know about.
Yes.
And exactly. that's the sad reality of it, because they don't understand business, or sometimes they just don't want to get involved in the business, but that lowers your ceiling.
Yeah, most definitely. So I think for me, like being super consistent on Instagram and posting, like I try to post at least once a week. Yeah, right. Once a day. I try to post once a day, and I know like doing that can really help with the visibility, because you're being active, and like Instagram also, because I'm like, even though I'm like, Instagram is like the platform that I kind of like work the most, like really trying to like drive that traffic to my website, and my email list is like key as well. But just being active and consistent, and like my Instagram for me is like kind of like my shop. It is my shop, and whenever I don't post, I feel like it's like my shop is closed. So I just make sure like I'm open every day and I post every day. So I think that is like my biggest means right now as far as marketing and like getting myself out there, because then people be like, oh, and then the commissions too really help. Like doing commissions and getting like high-end commissions from like high-end clients, that definitely helped to like put, some momentum behind my name, because like, oh, now I did a piece for this person, I did a piece for that person, and now I have this person buying my original pieces. So really being active and posting every day, and not posting just like some trash stuff, but like high quality, like real stuff, is what I feel like really helped me to kind of like put myself out there and market myself, because and I need to be more like going hard in it, because lately I've been slacking, but I'm planning for September to really go ham and really like break into this art business, because I don't really feel like I'm really in it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like the hunger coming right there. You know, that consistency is probably the biggest thing that stops a lot of people. I haven't raised my hand on that myself with my page of trying to be a curator for different things. Being on top of your game, really scheduling, planning out, okay, I'm going to post this. Because if people don't see you, on social media, it's all about the attention. So if they don't see you, it's just going to be forgotten. And I noticed recently on my personal page, there's pages I would follow, and I haven't seen this person in like a month or 2 months, but it's because I wasn't clicking on their stuff, or they stopped posting for like a short period of time, and then the algorithms and all the different things that they have to mess with Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, it pushes them to the back. So that you might not ever see it. So if you don't consistently put things out there for people to click on and to look at, it'll start to push your work to the back. So it's a very sad reality. But yeah, you can miss a week, a month, and then you have to kind of work double to get back to where you were.
Yeah, I missed, the longest I probably missed was like a week. And I was like, dang. Like, and then depending on when you decide to come back, it can kind of be, sometimes, like, you have to, like, if you pick at the right time, sometimes if you, like, haven't posted in a long time and you post, sometimes Instagram's algorithm will favor that and be like, oh, Simone hasn't posted in a week, look what she did. But if you get that type of favoritism when that happens, you better like hit the floor running and make sure you don't miss another day. Because it's times that's happened, was like, they still pick me up there? Okay, let me hurry up and keep this momentum going, because that algorithm don't be playing.
No, it's not. I remember when Instagram first came out, I think I was in middle school or high school, and it was back when it was the brown, the two-tone camera. Back then, it was just simply posting pictures on there, but they took that and they made it a complete business. And if you're not paying Instagram money to promote your stuff, then you have to work super, super hard to get your stuff out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, as far as you mentioned earlier, like getting your stuff in front of the right people in the right situations, what are some things that you did, or some things that other artists could do to try to help get their art out there in front of the proper eyes to see?
So one thing for me that really helped me grow was fan art. Like, fan art was like, and I didn't even know what fan art was either.
Could you explain that for us?
Oh, so fan art is basically art of famous people that people love, like Beyonce, Tupac, like whoever has like iconic people that people love and adore and stuff like that. That's like, when you do art of them, it's considered like fan art. So doing that, and for me, because I'm already a portrait artist, I already was like drawing people, because it's what I do, it's what I love, it's how I started in the whole art world in the beginning. And what made me want to be an artist is because I was drawing people, even though it was mainly myself. And those times in third grade and high school, I did a lot of self-portraits. But I really enjoy drawing faces and painting faces. So I would just draw some of my favorite people, and sometimes they reposted me. And I was like, wow. And then when they repost you, obviously you're going to get a whole slew of people from that. Even other fan pages will repost me. Like, I painted Aaliyah like 100 times. Like, she's my main go-to person. Like, I've been painting her in high school, college, and in my adult career. So I always paint Aaliyah. And a lot of her fan pages always reposted me. So I was able to build a lot through that way. And then also K. Michelle, I painted her one time, and actually went to her concert with the big old paint. It probably was bigger than this picture.
You took the painting with you to the concert?
Yeah. It was like a 4-foot painting, huge. Now I'm just like my little self, just carrying this huge painting. She was at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, and I was there like maybe 2 hours early, because I got to do go paint. I can't be coming late. I got to be like front in line type of thing. And I remember like people said, "Oh, did you paint that? Did you paint that?" I was like, "Yeah," and I'm like trying to get it into the thing, like, "Yes, I painted this for K. Michelle," because I was already like posting online on Twitter. She's like, "Oh, I love that. I love that." I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm going to bring it to the concert tonight." But she never really addressed it really. But I was like, "I'm going to bring it tonight." So I'm at the box office like, "Yeah, I have this painting for K. Michelle. She knows I'm coming. You need to get her." Let her know. Like, really going in with this whole thing. don't know anything about that. So then there was a girl on the street, for real. This is how you gotta hustle, yo. So this girl on the street was like, oh my God, that painting is so dope. Can I take a picture with you in that painting? And I'm just like, sure, whatever. So she gets somebody to take a picture with me and her, and we'll take a picture. I'm just like, see, and then she take it, whatever. And she's like, you want to look at it? I'm like, nah, I don't. It's whatever. I'm not really like into pictures. I'm not really photogenic, so I'm like, yeah, it's as good as it's gonna be, so it's fine. I don't need to look at it. So she's like, okay, but you know, K Michelle's my sister, right? I'm like, okay, all right, because you out here with me, like, what you talking about? But okay, that's cool. Yeah,
if that's your sister, you would be inside,
right? So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So now the line is forming. I'm like, okay, let me get in line. So I'm in line with my big old painting and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, somebody behind me is like, hey, is this you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they pull up their Instagram, and I'm on K Michelle's Instagram page with the picture that the girl took. And I was like, oh my God, that is her sister. She went, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, you're kidding me. So that really blew up my Instagram too, because she reposted me on her Instagram. All these massive K Michelle lovers started following me. I actually got a commission off of that from another high profile client. So that kind of fan art definitely grew my account.
All right, so I want to run back real quick because you froze up a little bit during that back end of that story. So after you saw your painting on her page, did K Michelle come out, or how did the rest of that story go with you having your painting at the concert?
I guess I was moving too much. I was too excited. My Wi-Fi is terrible. But you know, her concierge came out and was like, and she was like yelling out in the crowd, was like, who is an artist? Who is the artist? And then everybody's like, she right there. And I'm just like, I mean, clearly I got the big old painting with me. That's me. And she was like, she had me come out of the line, and she came spoke with me and was like, K Michelle really wants to meet you. She loves the piece that you did for her. And she's so, thankful and honored that you painted her and that she brought it with you tonight. So we're definitely going to arrange for you to meet her, come in the VIP section, and wow. So here's my number, and we'll be in touch. I was okay. And they took the painting. So finally, the box office, I was like, I told y'all. I was like, no, the people from the box office took the painting and everything, and I was able to meet her, and she posted me, and ever since then, it's just been like, wow. So fan art definitely, but I feel like too, you really have to be a fan of whoever it is that you paint. And like, you can't paint with the purpose of like, oh, I'm gonna paint this celebrity because they're gonna, I'm gonna pop off because of it. Because if I feel like knowing, because I like literally, I only painted people that I really love because I was a portrait artist already. It was only natural for me to paint these people. I didn't even know it was fan art until afterwards. I love K Michelle, like really love her music. Her mixtapes, everything about K Michelle I love already. So I just, I heard she was coming. I was like, oh, and take it with me.
Yeah, that is a great fan art story right there. Shout out to K Michelle. That's definitely a great look right there. So is it a lot of experiences like that where you just take your portraits to concerts, or that's just a great example?
Yeah, I've only tried it twice, and it worked both times. I did it with Justine Skye as well. But beforehand is always like trying to contact them prior to. But yeah, it definitely works out. I tried it twice, and it worked out twice. So
was it some nervousness? Was it some nervousness with that? Like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I'm feel kind of awkward, taking this huge painting to this concert. Like, was it anything like that, or you kind of just fearless? Was like, hey, I'm gonna do it no matter. Like, I'm just gonna go out here and do it no matter what.
Oh my goodness! Like, please, with that K Michelle one, I drove like an hour away with that painting, and it was huge, and I had to tie it up on my car.
On the roof of the car?
I know how to. Yes, on the highway, driving super fast. It flew off of my hood of my truck in the middle of the highway. And I was like freaking out, like, oh my gosh. So I got out of the car. It was far away. I had to like walk and get it. It was early in the morning. It was crazy because obviously I had to do it before work because it was like on a weekday that the concert was. So I had to take that big old paint with me to my job. And then when I got to the concert, I left work early to go to the concert, and I'm by myself. So it was really scary. I was so nervous and I was so embarrassed, I guess. It was just like, but I was like, I have to do it. I have to do it. Like, you gotta try, you gotta put yourself out there. Like, who else gonna do it if it's not gonna be you? So I did it anyway. Even that thing was heavy too, and I walked if you know how Silver Spring, how that concert is, it's not like the parking lot is in front of the building. Like, you gotta go find parking somewhere in some garage, and then you gotta walk there. So it was crazy. And then you gotta try to be cute because you're going to a concert. So I'm like,
you sweating?
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Trying not to look tired when you got up there.
It was all worth it.